But Kunal is here in the studios. Let's ask him how this week is likely to be. Kunal, hi, good morning. Not bad at all last week. Do you sense that strength will continue this week too?
Looks like Aisha, because 3 consecutive days of positive price uptrend. For the markets ending the last week, almost at a swing breakout, 24 to 50 mark. We were waiting for this confirmation for the Nifty on the spot levels. We finally managed to get it after I think a gap of more than 1.5 odd month for the indices. So that's a positive. The sector composition also I think has been improving, as you rightly said, that the IT stocks making a comeback adds to the kind of sectors which have been earlier underperforming, but the ones which are on the scope of recovery. So that probably adds to more sector participation. The market has become a lot more broad-based, even on a day like Friday, for example, where the markets open or the indices open with a gap up. But even though on an intraday basis, we just cooled off from the intraday highs till the fag end of the session, the market breadth net remained in favor of advances. So that tells you that even with sort of a consolidative market, the texture of the market breadth still remains to be on the positive side. That's generally an indication when you see a lot many sectors opening up. So I sense that we could see a continuation move on the upside, even though it's been a little bit more gradual up move for the index. We've scaled past about those 24 to 50 mark. We've taken almost 1.5 odd months to do it. Maybe another 300, 500 points on the upside is what you can expect, but potentially over the next 1 to 2 weeks.
Kunal, the VIX below 12, does that also give you a confidence that there will be a good support coming in at 24,000, 24,200 for the market?
So VIX has a direct negative correlation with respect to the benchmark indices. So when VIX falls down, it has a direct correlation on the positive side where the markets go up. Now, even if we try and do a very small, simple comparison that when VIX was sub 12 levels, this was just about the pre-war time period, February, mid to second half of the month of February. At that time, the Nifty was 25,000 plus levels. So even if we do a comparison over there, we are looking at a possibility or a strong possibility that the index would probably try and come back closer to that 25,000 mark, the more the VIX remains below 12. So it has a very strong positive correlation. There are positives and negatives for VIX falling down. So, for option writers, this becomes a little bit more better because the ones who have probably sold options, they get the IV benefit in that sense. But for the ones who are buying options in a falling VIX environment, it just deteriorates your premium as such.
Also, on Friday, interestingly, we saw a lot of shorts getting added to the Nifty Bank and Nifty Bank stocks there. At the same time, we had the shorts getting covered for the Nifty 50. What does that indicate for you?
See, what has been happening is that because of the movement of IT sector, pharma, FMCG, the underperforming sectors, markets are now thinking that maybe the banking stocks are the ones which could probably take a bit of a backseat. And, we've seen almost a 4,000 to 6,000 point rally for the Bank Nifty from 52,000 levels to 58,000 approximately for the Bank Nifty in the last 2 months. So maybe I think there's some bit of an ebb off in the banking names and more participation across the other sectors which are underperforming. But this is just a rotation for, within the sectors which happens, and it's a natural phase which happens. For one-off day, you might see the Bank Nifty making up a way of 500 points on the upside, and more of these anticipatory shorts, they can, get covered up. So I don't see this as a meaningful signal in terms of a constructive trend on the Bank Nifty on the downside, but it's just more like a sector rotation.
So Kunal, what sector or rather stock-specific bias would you have today? Any trading ideas?
So focusing on mid-cap names, Aarti Industries, for example, is one stock which is looking attractive. The stock closed at a much more positive price terrain on Friday, showing signs of strength above 450-60 mark, which has been a hurdle point for the stock price. So now look at 506 as a target for the stock and stop us to be kept at 475. Apparently, many of the cement names have started to make a good comeback. So ACC, Ambuja, etc. are looking quite strong. Would pick ACC at the current juncture. Would recommend a buy with a target of 1442. Stop loss to be kept at 1367.